Hello, and welcome to the No Wrong Notes podcast, a show hosted by me, Veronica Kokos, holistic voice teacher and singer just like you. Grab a cup of tea, relax, and sit back as we discuss all things singing technique, mindset tips, and more so you can show up as the most confident and creative singer you can be. Hi, y'all, and welcome to another episode of No Wrong Notes. I am back this week with another solo episode talking about the biggest mistakes that singers make when practicing their singing and how to fix those mistakes. Before we dive into this week's episode, though, I have a quick announcement, which is that the Curious Singer membership is taking new members. Yay! For those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, the Curious Singer membership is my membership program where you can receive weekly video coaching from me through WhatsApp that is tailored to you and your singing on your own time for a fraction of the cost of regular lessons. You also receive access to the studio warm-up library, which contains tons of warm-ups that target things like strengthening your head voice, working on your mix, working on your belting, and so much more. You also get discounts on lessons, and this spring I'm going to be adding another exciting feature to the program, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. My membership isn't going to be a good fit for everybody, though. It works best for adults who already have a little bit of experience with singing, even if it was a long time ago, and are trying to get back into a regular practice and are excited to put in the practice time on their own to bring their singing goals to life. Just this week, I've worked with Curious Singer members on things like how to sing more smoothly from note to note, how to belt high notes in Renee Rapp's Snow Angel with ease, and how to sing high notes with more clarity in Adele's Easy on Me. And again, I'm going to be adding a new feature to the program this spring, so you're going to get more bang for your buck. If you want to find out more info or join the Curious Singer membership, there is a link to that in the show notes, and I'd love to see you there. Moving on, today's episode is all about the biggest mistakes singers make when practicing their singing. This episode, though, is not to shame anyone. We all make mistakes in singing, and mistakes are things to learn from and embrace, not things to be ashamed of. And honestly, some of the things that I'm going to talk about aren't even really mistakes. I just kind of phrased this episode, the title of this episode, this way, just for ease and clarity of understanding. I've been talking about practice with my students a lot lately, and that's kind of what inspired this episode. In particular, I've been answering questions about what singing practice can look like, as well as addressing things that students are doing in their own practice that aren't necessarily wrong. Like I said, there's no wrong way to practice. They're just things that are maybe a little inefficient. So that's what inspired today's episode, to hopefully make your practice work for you a little bit better. So let's dive right in. The first mistake that I see from singers is that singers are not warming up all the parts of the range. As I said before, there is no wrong way to practice. You can pick and choose the things you want to focus on in your singing practice. Or maybe you just practice singing through songs. There's really nothing wrong with that. Your practice can look however you want it to look like. But if you want to make progress towards your singing goals, like you want to get better, you're going to want to spend time getting to know all the parts of your range, not just your favorite parts, which means warming up all of it. This is important because warming up to the top of your range provides for better flexibility, and warming up the bottom of your range allows for more clarity in the sound. Think of warming up your entire range as similar to warming up your muscles before working out. You wouldn't jump into a workout without warming up your body, right? You might hurt yourself if you do something like that. While you won't necessarily hurt your voice if you don't warm up, though you can, warming up your entire range preps your voice to do all of the vocal gymnastics involved in the exercises that you want to do. An example of this would be to start your warm-ups with an SOVT, like a lip trill, that warms up your range from top to bottom. And if that's all you have time for, that is okay. Like I said, your practice can look however you want it to look. Beyond that, if you have more time, add in head voice or falsetto exercises and chest voice exercises into your routine, warming up the range from bottom to top. Like I said, this is only going to enhance the experience of your voice. It's going to enhance the kind of progress that you're able to make in your singing, not just in your exercises, but when you're singing through the songs that you're working on. Now, moving on to the second mistake that I see singers make, which is not having a clear goal or intention in mind for their practice. If progressing in your singing is your goal, not if you're just singing for fun, there's nothing wrong with just singing for fun. But if progress is your goal, you need a clear goal or intention for your singing practice. What is it that you want to work on? Maybe it's expanding your range. Maybe it's working on getting a clearer tone. Whatever it is, if you don't have a clear goal in mind for your practice, it makes it harder to decide what exercises you want to do or what song you want to work on. And having a goal or intention in mind is useful for when you want structured practice. But as I said before, practice doesn't just have to be work, work, work. You can just sing for fun. You have full permission to just sing for fun. I do this myself. And when you are singing for fun, you'd still be using your singing skills. But this point that I'm trying to make of having a clear goal or intention is for people who have really specific overarching goals. Like they want to be able to sing more clearly through their vocal break, or they want clearer high notes, stronger high notes. This idea of having a goal or intention in mind for your practice is for those people that really are focusing on these big overarching goals. Moving on to the third and final mistake that singers make, which is not practicing regularly enough. And I'm not trying to say you need to practice all the time, okay? Life gets busy. Life is lifing, all right? Things get in the way. Personally, I'm dealing with some stuff in my own life that makes it kind of hard to get as much practice in as I would like. I'm still able to warm up. I'm still able to practice each day, but it's maybe not as much as I would like. And that is okay. Again, life gets in the way. But even if you can dedicate only 10 minutes to your practice and only have time to do a few warm-ups, if progress is your goal, and I'll underline that for you guys, if progress is your goal, then go for it. Make it a habit. You can even reward yourself when you're done with your practice. Like, let's say you spend 10 minutes doing warm-ups, exercises, singing through a song very quickly. I don't know, 10, 15 minutes for that. Maybe afterwards you treat yourself to a coffee. Maybe afterwards you treat yourself to some Netflix time. I don't know. This is just an idea to reward yourself for the time that you're putting into your practice. But again, I'll emphasize this. Singing regularly gets results. I see it all the time in the studio. I had a couple students last week that came in for their lessons, and I was amazed at how much progress they had made since I had seen them the week or two prior, because they had been practicing regularly. I was astonished. I was like, wow, you guys made so much progress. You guys are sounding great in these lessons. And each of these students had told me, well, I'm just doing my warm-ups. I'm doing the warm-ups and the exercises that are in the studio warm-up library. And that was all they had been doing, or they had been practicing their songs. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that practicing regularly gets results, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. With some of these students, they're not even practicing for that long when they are having their practice sessions. Maybe it's just 10, 15 minutes. Again, it doesn't have to be for hours at a time. All right, guys, that is it for this week's short and sweet solo episode. If you have practice questions of your own, maybe there's something that I didn't touch upon in this week's episode, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me or contact me through Instagram. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could leave a 5-star rating and review. Again, as I said at the top of the episode, my Curious Singer membership is taking new members, and I'd love to see you there. If you want more singing content like this, give me a follow on social media. My Instagram and TikTok are linked in the show description. And in the meantime, happy singing, y'all.